performed the Ganga Aarti and will be heading to the Kashi Vishwanath temple shortly. Of course, we'll bring you those live pictures. But the Congress party, which along with the Samajwadi party stunned the BJP in UP, giving it a jolt, is sniping from the sidelines with the dust settling on the Lok Sabha results, giving the Congress much to smile about and the Samajwadi party much to cheer about. Is the stage now set for the 2027 UP Assembly election? That's our big focus on the Newstrack tonight. But first, as always, the headlines at 8. Prime Minister, like I said, returns to Kashi after his historic re-election, releases 17th installment of the PM Kisan Nidhi funds for farmers, thanks the voters of Varanasi for welcoming him back for the third time. Rahul Gandhi's Raebareli decision triggers a political war. BJP accuses Rahul of abandoning Wayanad and misleading its voters. Asks why didn't Priyanka Gandhi Vadra fight in UP? Supreme Court pulls up National Testing Authority over NEET 2024 results. Says even if there's a 0.001% negligence chance, it should be fixed. Rahul Gandhi questions Prime Minister's silence on the NEET issue. No remorse, no regret. The shameless people in this murder case of Karnataka, Pavitra, Gowda and Pavan, both accused in the murder of actor Darshan's fan Renuka Swamy, caught smiling on camera. Video triggers massive public outrage over the entitlement of Kannada film stars. Huge boost for Made in India in defense. Government kickstarts mega attack helicopter order process. Order for 156 Made in India Prachand light combat helicopters lifts off. The order is likely to be signed later this year. It's his first visit to Varanasi in UP after winning the Lok Sabha election for the third straight time. And the Prime Minister made Kisan, the farmer, his big focus on this visit. He felicitated farmers and released over 20,000 crore rupees as part of the PM Kisan Nidhi Yojana, the biggest direct transfer benefit scheme in the world. You're listening to sounds from the Ganga Aarti that the Prime Minister was just part of.
Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadev.
After a historic hat-trick, Prime Minister Modi back in his Karma Bhumi, Kashi. And it was the Kisan that took center stage. Prime Minister released the 17th installment of PM Kisan Nidhi funds and thanked the voters of Varanasi for re-electing him.
भारत के लोकतंत्र की यही खूबसूरती, यही ताकत पूरी दुनिया को आकर्षित भी करती है, प्रभावित भी करती है। G7 के सारे देशों के सारे मतदाताओं को मिला दे तो भी भारत के वोटर्स की संख्या उनसे 2.5 गुना ज्यादा है। ऐसा भारत में 60 साल पहले हुआ था। तब से भारत में किसी सरकार ने इस तरह हैट्रिक नहीं लगाई थी। आपने ये सौभाग्य हमें दिया, अपने सेवक मोदी को दिया।
Vikas was the other big message by the Prime Minister in Varanasi.
हमारी काशी संस्कृति की राजधानी रही है, हमारी काशी ज्ञान की राजधानी रही है, हमारी काशी सर्व विद्या की राजधानी रही है। लेकिन इन सबके साथ साथ काशी एक ऐसी नगरी बनी है जिसने सारी दुनिया को ये दिखाया है कि हेरिटेज सिटी भी अर्बन डेवलपमेंट का नया अध्याय लिख सकती है। विकास भी और विरासत भी का मंत्र काशी में हर तरफ दिखाई देता है।
Politics is already raging over Prime Minister's Kashi visit.
मैं चैलेंज करता हूं मोदी जी को इस्तीफा देकर आके बनारस चुनाव लड़ें। न चुनाव हरा दिया तो राजनीतिक जीवन से संन्यास ले लूंगा।
बड़ा दावा कर रहे हैं आप।
बिल्कुल बड़ा दावा। मैं दावा कर रहा हूं कि मोदी जी आके बनारस इस्तीफा देकर चुनाव लड़ें और आके चुनाव जीतें। नहीं अगर हरा दिया तो राजनीतिक जीवन से संन्यास ले लूंगा।
Rahul Gandhi, who has also decided to retain Raebareli in Uttar Pradesh, giving up his Wayanad seat in Kerala, had also hit out at the Prime Minister.
और मैं आपको कहता हूं और बहन से कह रहा हूं, अगर ये लड़ जाती वाराणसी में, अगर ये लड़ गई होती तो आज हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री 2-3 लाख वोटों से वाराणसी का चुनाव हार जाते।
UP was one of the key states that stunned the BJP and brought its tally down in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. The stage is now set for 2027 assembly polls. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let me show you what the numbers stack up as currently in Uttar Pradesh. Now remember, viewer, no matter which way the analysts slice it, the netas slice it, the fact is the BJP has received a huge jolt in Uttar Pradesh in this election. They've fallen by nearly half. Just take a look at elections since 2004 in Uttar Pradesh. In 2014 is when the BJP swept to power with Yogi Adityanath becoming the chief minister. They won 71 of 80 seats in 2014. That's the Lok Sabha election. I'm talking about the assembly in a bit. 62 in 2019. They came down, but they still managed to hold on to all those seats. But 33 in 2024. So they took a huge hit, mostly benefiting the Samajwadi Party. And the Congress also went from 1 seat to 6 seats. The biggest beneficiary of this huge crash, of course, is the Samajwadi Party. If you look at the assembly, now, of the 403 seats, 255 are controlled by the BJP. The Samajwadi Party has 111. The BSP has 1. The Congress has 2. So the last election threw up many things as far as the assembly was concerned. But the Lok Sabha election this year, where the results came just a few days back, Uttar Pradesh is way, way beyond any other big headline that the results have brought. Here are the vote share figures in the UP Assembly election in 2022. This was the last assembly election that took place. The next one is in 2027. The BJP enjoys a 41.2% vote share. 32.1% is the Samajwadi Party. The BSP 12.9%. The Congress an embarrassing 2.3%. The question now is, with the Lok Sabha done, with the dust settling, if it ever can, on a result of this kind, where the result in Uttar Pradesh is the dominant headline, the dominant takeaway, much to chew on for the BJP and a huge amount of potential ahead for the UP ke Ladke Akhilesh and Rahul Gandhi. The question is, what does the road to UP 2027 look like? Who's got the advantage? Who's on the back foot? Who's more battle ready? Will the Congress and the Samajwadi Party have a chance now to stage a big comeback? Or can the BJP, which has learnt a bitter lesson in this Lok Sabha election, have what it needs to course correct and do enough in time in 2027 to reverse any trend that could be indicated by this Lok Sabha result. Let's try and get in some indications from some of the finest voices on the political spectrum. Shantanu Gupta, political analyst and author. Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, who also happens to be the brother-in-law of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who will be making her poll plunge very soon. Juhi Singh, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And we'll also be joined by Sardar R.P. Singh of the BJP in just a moment. Tehseen, I want to come to you very quickly first, because UP was, beyond any doubt, beyond any measure, the biggest headline in this election. But the dust has settled now. The Prime Minister is in Kashi. Much has been made, justifiably so, about the vote margins, the fact that the BJP has chastened, it's been confined below the majority mark. UP was where it was, confidently supposed to be able to dominate as far as seats was concerned. And the BJP did receive a very rude shock. We've gone through all the analysis. Now we want to look forward as far as 2027 is concerned. How do you see the road to 2027? You think the BJP will be learning all its lessons and do what it needs to be battle ready for 2027? Or do you think that this is going to be a smooth comeback path for the UP ke ladke?
Good evening, Shiv. Thank you so much for having me on the show. So to answer your question, the BJP is a fantastic election machine, and one should never underestimate it. They are my political opponents. I desperately want to see the BJP lose, but it's not going to be that easy. And yes, they do learn from their mistakes. So to say that just because in 2024 in the Lok Sabha elections they didn't perform well, they won't perform well in 2027? That's not true in the assembly elections. Remember, in the assembly elections, Shantanu sitting here, there will be the Yogi Adityanath factor, and Yogi Adityanath ji will be the chief ministerial face. So there will be that factor that will be very important. Yes. Plus, we saw when the BJP lost Gorakhpur in the by-elections Lok Sabha, after Yogi ji resigned as the MP and became chief minister, they lost it, they came back and won the seat again. So the BJP learns from its mistake. It also has a very strong organization in UP. The momentum is in favor of SP Congress, no doubt about it. It all depends on how the current MPs from SP and Congress raise issues of UP in Parliament. They are able to capture on the anti-incumbency vote. They can raise issues on the ground and create an atmosphere. That's as far as UP 2027 is concerned. But is it going to be an easy walkover? No, it won't be an easy walkover. It will be a tough fight. If the SP and Congress play their cards correct, they stand a chance. I think one key factor, and I'll end here, is BSP. We saw in 2024 the BSP almost decimated. It's come down to about 9% vote share. Most of its votes, non-Jatav Dalit votes, have gone to the SP Congress rather than the BJP, which the BJP was hoping for. Make no mistake, Prime Minister Modi and Yogi Adityanath ji will be trying to get back those votes. It depends on the coalition Congress and SP can make, and the BJP will try and get back those votes. Those votes will be a key factor.
Okay, very interesting. We'll get into those details as well after the opening comments. Shantanu, the India Alliance will, understandably frame the path to 2027 as a UP ke ladke versus the double engine. Tehseen, and I agree with what Tehseen said, that, it's never that simple. It's an assembly election, not like the Lok Sabha election. But the India Alliance will be going into this road with a sense of momentum. The BJP will be going into it with a sense of shock, trying to course correct, etc. How do you see it? Is it as simple as UP ke ladke versus double engine, going forward from what has happened this year?
Shiv, I think let's try to understand Uttar Pradesh politics in the last 2-3 decades.
Yeah.
Right? Samajwadi Party held the chief minister position for almost 4 times, 3 times Mulayam Singh Yadav ji and 1 time Akhilesh Yadav. Mayawati also held the position 4 times, right? So between Samajwadi Party and BSP, they held the chief minister position 8 times, right? But the interesting part is that only 2 times they had the absolute majority. 2007 Mayawati and 2012 Akhilesh Yadav, right? In both these times, their vote share was only 29% or 30%. BJP, since has arrived in UP Big Bang, 2014 onwards, they took the game to 40% and 50%, right? The advantage to BJP, even in 2024 election, is they're still holding their 42% vote share.
Yeah.
Right? They lost tactically. And they lost seats tactically here and there, in fact, in all parts.
Yes.
And that tactical advantage Samajwadi Party will always have, right? they can put 4 Muslim candidates and can get 90% Muslim vote. Like that's like they can take Muslim votes for granted. They can give only 5 Yadav tickets, that too only in the family. That they're technically not Yadav votes, Yadav seats, they're family seats, but they can still take Yadav votes for granted. So in a 100-meter race, someone like Samajwadi Party starts at 20-25, right? For BJP, they have to start from zero every time, but they're holding 40 plus vote share from 14 onwards. From last 10 years, 42% people of Uttar Pradesh voters are with BJP. Now with tactical corrections, right? I think it's very easy, or I should not say very easy. I think it's very plausible for them to come back with a brand like Yogi, with the work that is done, and the brand like Modi. And that's my understanding.
Okay, very interesting. So, the numbers speak. The vote share was there. There were tactical losses, and that's what this came down to. But the assembly election will be a different, it'll be framed different. It'll be Yogi Adityanath on the ticket, etc., etc. We'll go into those details as well in just a bit. Juhi ji, to bring you in now. Obviously, a spring in the step of the Samajwadi Party, justifiably so, and the opposition alliance will be seeing this as a kind of booster shot over the next few years towards the assembly election. But obviously, it's not going to be easy, as our first two speakers have already said. How do you see this?
No election is easy, Shiv, and everybody's just been talking about data. There are issues which are there which can't be quantified. Varanasi, let's talk about Varanasi. BJP party members, I would say IT cell members, harassed a girl, sexual harassment, but was it addressed by the Prime Minister? It was his constituency. Again, there was an issue of constantly recruitment papers being leaked since 2017. And let's not talk about the BJP. We'll be, in 27, we'll be looking at 18 years of central government and 10 years of the UP government. So what's there on the ground is something which people will ask. What about employment? We've just talked about Kisan Samman Nidhi. That does not address the agricultural distress, which is very real. The irrigation prices are going up, the input costs are going up, the farmers are not being able to sell their produce. They are taking credit, people are committing suicide, also selling off their land. So whether the government is actually addressing or even recognizing that there are issues of this sort. What is the government employment which has been generated?
But you're not answering my question.
A letter which was leaked. I've already answered it. I think it's all right to talk about vote percentage. I said it's going to be a challenge. Every election is a challenge. We are going to contest it on issues. We've contested the past election on the issues also and emerged strong. And we are there in the parliament, a strong presence there. We are a strong presence in UP. And we've constantly raised these identical issues in the UP Vidhan Sabha to the Chief Minister, and we are going to do that. What about the caste census? We've been asking about that. We'll keep raising it there. So, the UP has thrown up the fault lines and the promises which were made to UP, which they failed. The Ganga, there was an article today. It's not been cleaned. The bio fishes or various, whatever lives in the Ganga, they're dying because the oxygen levels are going down and the water levels are going down. What about the waterway which was promised? It was supposed to be developed as a port. So how much has really UP government or the central government gone forward? It is, as you said, a double engine or a triple engine.
Okay, Juhi, so you're saying...
So let's address that.
So you're saying that the issues were on your side in this election, and that's the reason why the result came out this way, and you feel that they will hold you in good measure going forward into 2027 as well. Sardar R.P. Singh of the BJP is also with us. Mr. Singh, the opposition, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress feel that the traction that they've got, we can debate we've already, all the political pundits have debated the reasons, whether it is caste or videos or whatever it is. I don't want to get into the reasons of it. I'm just saying we now know what the results are and we have to look forward on that. The opposition alliance, UP ke Ladke as they're called in UP, is feeling buoyant. They feel that this traction has worked and will stand them in good stead going towards 2027. The BJP, does it feel on the back foot? Even though there is a difference between Lok Sabha and assembly elections, how is the BJP seeing it? Mr. Singh.
Shiv, every election is a different election.
Yeah.
And every election is contested on different ideas and on different platforms. they could manage this election because they could take the people along with them on the narrative which they have proposed to the people. One was that constitution is under threat, and because of that, there will be a problem with the reservation. We accept that. They were able to build that narrative, and they tactically used that. Second was those freebies of that 1 lakh rupee per annum, 8,500 rupees per month. Although we all know that what has happened in Karnataka, they made certain promises. They are trying to fulfill those promises. Along with that, they have raised the prices of petrol, taxes on petrol and diesel there. When you pickpocket from one side and then you try to give it to the other side, this is seen in Karnataka also. But the fact is, yes, they were able to build a narrative, and then they were able to also consolidate the Muslim votes. I have nothing to feel shy about that. They could consolidate the Muslim vote, and then it's seen that almost 85%, 90% Muslim vote casted for them, and then they could build up that threat perception for Muslims, although there is nothing of that sort.
What about 2027? That we know about. What about 27?
I'll answer that also. Shiv will answer that also.
Yeah.
Also that when Prime Minister announced any scheme or any Garib Kalyan Yojana, that is not divided by on the parameters or on the lines of the Hindu, Muslim or caste and color and creed. If I rightly remember, the percentage of all these schemes which has been announced with the Prime Minister, the Kisan Samman Nidhi, or whether it is Nal Se Jal.
No, but Mr. Singh, I understand all that. That's what
Give me a second. It's very important. Shiv, you'll understand.
Yeah, complete your point. But quickly.
From here.
Yes.
Almost 35 to 36% of the benefits go to the Muslims. But yes, they were able to build up a narrative, and then they succeeded in that. But Hindi में कहावत है, काट की हांडी एक बार चढ़ती है, बार-बार नहीं.
Okay. Okay, so I get it. So the short point of what you're saying is that every election is different. What worked this time will not work, another time. It cannot simply be replicated, and momentum is not something that you can exaggerate. Okay, Tehseen, let me come back to you right now. I want to sharpen this a little bit more and make it a little bit. You can respond, Tehseen, to points anyone before you has raised, but I want to ask a specific question now. Let's talk about the Congress party. The Congress party went from 1 seat, in the last Lok Sabha election in UP to 6 seats now. I'm wondering whether the Congress itself was expecting such a good performance in UP. I have a feeling they were quite surprised, by this performance on the back of the Samajwadi Party, of course. But what kind of role do you think, one half of the UP ke ladke, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party will play going forward towards UP 2027. The reason I'm asking is because you've just seen Rahul Gandhi, giving up Wayanad to stay in Raebareli. Priyanka Gandhi will be in Wayanad. There appears to be a recalibration as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, and a recognition that this is something that doesn't leave a lot of elbow room for the Congress party. It's a big opportunity to expand.
That's true, Shiv. And let's be honest, and I want to be honest on your show. The Congress does not have its best organization in Uttar Pradesh. It does not even have the resources that other political parties have in Uttar Pradesh. And for 20 odd plus years, it's been out of power. So it's not its strongest state unit. It's not its strongest state. Despite that, the Congress performance is good. So coming back to your question, did the Congress expect a good performance? Yes, it did. And I was involved in the war room. Particularly when the exit poll results came out, what we realized from all exit polls in common, including the Axis exit poll, is that Dalit votes had moved had moved away from BJP, which means if that is true, then BJP couldn't be getting the seats that they were getting in Uttar Pradesh, despite the exit poll saying that would hold true even in Uttar Pradesh, and SP and Congress would do very well. So that was the first taking that we got, and we were quite confident. In fact, I thought about 7 or 8 seats. I also believed that the Prime Minister would struggle in Varanasi, and that happened. I said that on another TV show live, and people were sort of not very certain about it. So there is a certain amount of momentum. What role will Rahul Gandhi ji play in that? In my opinion, and I've sent him a text. I hope he does do it. He must become LOP. That's point number one. Because anything further, the road to 2029 will lead to Uttar Pradesh 2027. In that context, Rahul Gandhi ji must be LOP and he must have that stature to take on Prime Minister Modi. That's for 2029. As for 2027, I again say, don't take the BJP lightly. There are several problems in Uttar Pradesh, but this is not an election of Prime Minister Modi. This is an election of Yogi Adityanath ji. Yogi Adityanath ji has built his own brand. He's a leader in his own right. He's the only chief minister the Prime Minister and Home Minister cannot ignore. Let's be real of the fact. Even somebody like Shivraj Singh Chauhan can be ignored. Not a Yogi Adityanath ji. This is going to be his election. So the Congress and SP has to be very clear, very strategic on how they're going to take this. It has to be both a strategy in Delhi and a strategy on the streets of Lucknow and Uttar Pradesh, which will help them come to power in 2027. Yes, they have momentum, but remember the BJP has money, muscle and organization.
Shantanu, you've tracked Yogi Adityanath very closely. You've written about him as well. You know, granted that a Lok Sabha election and an assembly election are different in many different ways, but it's, you know, it's always tempting to, frame election after election with the sense of momentum that we're talking about here. But speaking strictly of assembly election 2027 in UP, what would the Yogi machine take from this year's result in the Lok Sabha in Uttar Pradesh? And what kind of things do you think will the BJP be doing over the next few years ahead of 2027, taking from what's happened this year?
I think I agree with Tehseen that the kind of party BJP is and the kind of leader Yogi Adityanath is, they don't mind going back to the drawing board often, and they will go back. They're already going back at the government level and also at the party level. So if there are tactical mistakes, so if their vote share drop will be like 7-8%, 10%, I'm sure they should have been worried. I think the silver lining for them, the vote share is intact. Their tactical mistakes, maybe by ticket, maybe organization, or maybe they're too complacent that we have Modi, we have Yogi, we have Ram Mandir, we have a lot of work, our schemes are going to the ground. I think they're complacent, right? I think when you ask that, was Congress expecting this victory? I guess not, because the signals Rahul Gandhi himself is giving. He said, "Behna, agar tum Modi ji ke against ladti, to 3-4 lakh se jeet jati." Meaning, was the Behna was not ready to beat Narendra Modi? Was there a pact with Narendra Modi that we don't want to wait to? No, because they did not have slightest of the cue. If they have slightest of the cue that they're going to win Amethi, why will Rahul Gandhi would not have contested from Amethi and regained his seat, right? Why Rahul Gandhi came the last day on Raebareli and filed his parcha without any limelight with 3 people? Because they didn't have any clue. Right, and that's why they're not leaving those seats, because they know those reservation will go away. Those fake guarantee cards will not fly every time. That's why even Akhilesh Yadav is leaving his assembly seat where he should have been. If I will be advising Akhilesh Yadav, I'll say you should be in assembly so that you can oppose Yogi Adityanath day in and day out, and you can be faced there. What will you do in the parliament where your record is anyway abysmal? You know, in last parliament, when he was there for 2 years from Azamgarh, his attendance was hardly 33%. He hardly asked any question. He hardly presented any private member bill. He hardly was part of 5-6 debates. Right? So he's anyway failed parliamentarian. He was proving a better person in the assembly. But he's running away from there because they know if they reach Kannauj now, I think there can be repercussion. Will they regain the seat or not? So that's why I'm reading what I'm reading.
Okay, very interesting. Juhi ji, you can respond to that. That, the Yogi machine is going to be different. He accepts that, there may have been some complacency. But there are those, Juhi ji, who will say that this jhatka that has been dealt to the BJP 3 years ahead of the assembly election is a wake-up call. If it wasn't this big, they wouldn't have known what to fix. They wouldn't have known what to correct. And now they will be even more battle-ready than perhaps with some other kind of election result for 2027.
Yeah. This is the second term for Yogi Adityanath ji, I think, if I... okay. And he has n number of MLAs, so it's also the report card of the MLAs, how they have performed in the ground. It is also the third term for the various MPs here of the BJP. So their report card, Adarsh Gaon, also the fact that what is happening on the investment summit, how much investment has really come on the ground, what's happening with the bureaucracy, what are you doing with your urban centers, centers, and the various systemic fault lines which have emerged, how you are addressing that? Are you even reading your Niti Aayog reports? How have you performed on SDG parameters? Shravasti, you've lost Ayodhya, you've lost Shravasti, you've lost Chitrakoot, an ample example of don't really put a community and say that, only that community they have supported us, and there are various other communities.
But ma'am, the BJP says these are tactical victories and it's not a statewide message. That's where the risk is for the Samajwadi Party, because if the vote share had come down to the BJP, then they would have had reason to worry, is what they say. So can you really overlook that?
If they're happy with that explanation, let them be with it. It's a failure of the government. The government has not delivered, whether on Ujjwala, whether on Namami Ganga, whether on Swachh Bharat, and we were talking about freebies. So what is PM Kisan Samman Nidhi? What is 5 kilo ration you are trading on people's hunger? India has emerged as very high on being hungry. Also the fact that poverty is spreading. I think somebody asked a question also to the Prime Minister, which he really didn't address. So, if they understand the issues, address them. Of course, it's a difficult election, otherwise nobody is running away from any performance. Akhilesh Yadav ji has performed as the Chief Minister. He's been a strong leader of opposition in the Vidhan Sabha, and if he chooses to be in the Parliament, that's some decision our party takes, and he'll be a strong parliamentarian raising the relevant questions, which I think the BJP will have to address.
Okay,
yes.
Sardar RP Singh, you want to respond to Juhi Singh and the points that Tehseen made?
Well, I accept there was a level of complacency within our system. People were competent. Our workers were taking it for granted. Yes, that we are winning. And as I said earlier, I have to reiterate that there was consolidation of Muslim votes. Let's accept that. And also, they could tell people that their narrative, their part of the narrative, one was that constitution is under threat, although nothing of that sort is happening. And also, that because of constitution under threat, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe will suffer. Thirdly, the narrative of freebies, I mean, that they were able to take it in a better way, where they made people accept that they are going to get some 8,500 rupees per family per month, per woman, per month. And although every election will be different election, and again, we are already trying to analyze where we went wrong, and we'll surely cover up, and then we'll surely win 2027 election without fail.
Okay.
Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla is saying today that he was part of the war room. Congratulations, Tehseen, that you succeeded in your narrative which you built up if you're part of the war room. But ultimately, let's see. I mean,
got it.
No, give me a second. Ultimately, is the NDA-led government, is the Prime Minister Modi who is going to lead the government, and next 5 years is going to be very different from the last 10 years.
Okay. Tehseen, yeah, I know you want to respond to RP Singh, but let me just throw in a quick question because we're almost out of time on this discussion. I wanted to just quickly throw in a question about Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, because, you know, the decision that was made yesterday, the day before yesterday, has been discussed threadbare. It's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays out. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is also a relative of yours, so first of all, congratulations on her poll plunge, impending poll plunge. But my question to you is specific. It is that there are many, and I wonder if you are one of them, you know, who perhaps would have preferred that Priyanka Gandhi be in Uttar Pradesh and Rahul Gandhi keep Wayanad because of the amount of time that Priyanka Gandhi has dedicated to Uttar Pradesh so far. What do you think about that, and what kind of role do you think she could play going forward in UP?
No, I always knew she would come from Wayanad, not from Raebareli, and that was extremely important, even politically. So that was decided foremost. But more importantly, I think it's extremely important to have her in Parliament. I do believe firmly she's Congress's tallest leader, best orator, both in English and Hindi, and it's important that her opinions be heard in Parliament, and she raises the voice of opposition. I've also noticed a pattern with the Honourable Prime Minister. The Prime Minister finds it very difficult to attack her personally. Though her attacks on the Prime Minister are very sharp, up. They're not personal attacks. I've always seen the Prime Minister finds it very difficult to attack her personally. So it is a good, Congress has a good card in Priyanka Gandhi Vadra ji. So I think in Parliament she'll definitely be an asset. A personal thing, I had requested her she should fight 2000 in the last Lok Sabha from Kanyakumari.
You've always said she should fight. You've always said she should fight.
Yeah. From Kanyakumari. I've always said that. Yes, I've always said that. So I'm glad that she's going the Lok Sabha route. But I just want to tell RPN Singh ji one question. Look, who polarized the election? It was the Honourable Prime Minister who brought in Machli, Mangalsutra and
What name you said, sir?
and Mujara. Had he not brought this in, sir, if I may finish, had the Honourable Prime Minister not... Sir, please.
Let him
sir, I'll
finish.
just take 10 seconds.
No, my name is not
Sir, I'll just take 10 seconds, then you respond. Sir, please.
No. My name is not RPN Singh, please, sir.
Sorry, sir.
He said RP Singh. No, he said RP Singh.
Sorry, sir. Sardar RP Singh. Sorry.
I'll tell you what Shahjad Puri.
I said RP Singh, but I'm sorry. Sardar RP Singh.
Come on. No. Finish your point. I'm almost out of time. Yeah.
I apologize, Sardar RP Singh ji. Sir, please.
Tehseen is one of the most respectful analysts, sir. Come on, you can't have a problem with Tehseen. Yes, finish your point, Tehseen.
So Prime Minister got in Mangalsutra, Machli, Musalman and Mujara. I thought that did not behove our Prime Minister. He was my Prime Minister as well, bringing Mujara in. I think he polarized the election and that backfired. That's my opinion about it. Maybe analysts have different opinion of BJP workers.
Okay.
But the polarization did begin with the Honourable Prime Minister.
20 seconds, RP Singh, then I have to close. Yes.
Manifesto of the Congress Party, page number 8, paragraph number 7, Congress will ensure that they, like every citizen, minorities have the full freedom of choices of dress, food, language and personal laws. Who was trying to polarize? Personal law means Sharia.
Okay.
And then that message was sent across that we'll get the Sharia back.
Okay.
We are a Muslim party. We will work for you as a Muslim party. And they succeeded in that.
This is sounding like
that message.
This is sounding like a pre-election debate, with the greatest of respect to all of our guests.
I'm just quoting
I
the
understand.
manifesto, sir, nothing else.
I get that. There will be a lot of time. RP Singh, Tehseen, you're both good friends of mine. I promise you there will be a lot of opportunity along with Juri ji and Shantanu ji for their time on this discussion. There will be many more things to dissect, threadbare. Thanks to all of you for your time here on Newstrack. Thank you so much. All right, that was debate number 1 here on Newstrack. Coming up on the other side, we're shifting from politics and Uttar Pradesh to a gruesome crime that has swallowed many prominent members of the Kannada film industry. Every single day, this story is getting worse and worse and worse. It hinges on superstar Darshan and his alleged role in the murder of a fan. That story is next.
Motorola Edge 50 Ultra with Moto AI.
विक्रम आ तो गए, जाओगे कैसे?
बड़े आराम से। हेलो, मैं आ रहा हूँ और हाँ, भगा कर ले जाऊंगा। सिक्योरिटी! भाग गई, पकड़ो उनको! हेलो! बोला था ना, भगा कर ले जाऊंगा। विक्रम!
एक हिंट तो देते?
हिंट?
बड़े आराम से।
At the India Today Media Institute, we believe in training students in independent and critical thinking so they improve their ability to analyze the world around them. The training provided at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with a view of providing top-notch media professionals. Register now at www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in.
It's one of the biggest crime thrillers crime scandals to hit the Kannada film industry. Superstar actor Darshan and his partner and actor Pavitra are in police custody for their alleged involvement in the murder of a fan named Renuka Swami. Disturbing details of the accused tortured the victim with electric shocks have emerged, but despite the anger, the calls for justice for this fan, Renuka Swami, the accused seemed to express no remorse, smiling, showing comfortable body language. Pavitra and others were seen during the spot inquest. Take a look.
Pavitra Gowda, Sandalwood actor and superstar Darshan's partner and co-accused in the murder of Renuka Swami, seen smiling as she was taken for a spot inquest by the police. No remorse, no regret. The image have triggered massive outrage. Apart from Pavitra, two other accused were also seen smiling. As chorus for justice and fair trial grows, the murder investigation is gaining steam. Accused Pawan, Dhanraj and Nandish were taken to Darshan's residence for a spot inquest. Karnataka Home Minister G. Parmeshwara visited the victim Renuka Swami's family in Chitradurga and met his mother and his pregnant wife.
ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಸಲ್ಲದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಲೇಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ರಾಜಕೀಯದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ನೋಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಕಾನೂನಿದೆ, ಕಾನೂನು ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಮನವಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಬಣ್ಣ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರಿ.
The police are also probing comedian and actor Chikanna's link to the murder. Chikanna was reportedly with Darshan hours before Renuka Swami's killing. India Today has also accessed the line of questioning in actor Chikanna's interrogation. Chikanna said that he was present at a party with Darshan before the murder and that he was not aware of the events thereof. Chikanna also revealed that Darshan got few calls, but he did not know who called him. Chikanna has further said that he did not notice any change in Darshan's behavior and that he had no information about Renuka Swami. The murky murder mystery continues to unravel.
The victim in this murder crime, Renuka Swami, was in his early 30s. He's left his mother and pregnant wife behind. He was murdered allegedly for sending abusive and lewd messages to Darshan's partner Pavitra Gowda, who's also an actor, who you can see smiling shamelessly in those pictures. The social media messages sent by Renuka Swami reportedly infuriated actor Darshan, who decided to teach Renuka Swami a lesson. But what made Darshan think he could get away with it? Take a look.
They smile even in police custody, despite being accused in the abduction, torture and murder of a 33-year-old Renuka Swami. They can smile because he is the superstar actor Darshan Thogudipa. She is the third wheel in his marriage, and the rest of them are his fans and close aides. Darshan was angry because allegedly Renuka Swami abused and sent lewd messages on social media to his partner Pavitra. Renuka Swami was one of Darshan's countless fans. The superstar reached out to another fan, Raghavendra, in Chitradurga, and together they allegedly hashed a plot to teach Renuka Swami a lesson. Raghavendra met Renuka Swami and promised him a darshan with the superstar god of his dreams. He was picked up first in an auto rickshaw and then in a rented Etios car and brought to Bengaluru. Once in the capital city of Karnataka, Raghavendra with other aides allegedly kept Renuka Swami in the car shed and went to meet Darshan, and together they parted in a pub owned by Vinay. The pub owner is a friend of the superstar and is also another accused in the case. Comedian Chikanna joined them in the party. In a police inquiry, Chikanna claimed that Darshan was drinking freely in the middle of the day as was usual and he saw no change in his behavior. Though the superstar received calls, Chikanna was not aware of the content of the calls as Darshan never discussed them or looked any way concerned. The aides returned to the shed and beat up Renuka Swami. Darshan and Pavitra arrived at the spot and the aides thrashed the victim in their presence, slammed him against the wall before Darshan himself allegedly whipped him with a belt. He and Pavitra left, but the beatings continue with rods. Renuka Swami is given electric shocks. He died of mortal injuries, says his post-mortem report. His body is then dumped in a drain. Police recovered Renuka Swami's gold chain and wallet from Raghavendra's Chitradurga home. Police now plan to take Darshan and other accused for a spot inquiry to the pub owned by Vinay along with Chikanna. The superstar is also to be taken to Mysuru for spot inquest, as that is the place from where he was arrested on 11th of June morning. The news tightens around the superstar and his friends and fans, but they all remain strong in their belief of immunity because the star has managed to wriggle out of many nooses in the past. But with mounting evidence, Renuka Swami might prove to be the final undoing for the superstardom for Darshan Thogudipa. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, superstar actor and film star Darshan's arrest in the Renuka Swami murder case is not his maiden brush with the law, whether it is domestic violence, assaulting a businessman in a pub, hitting a DJ for not playing his own film songs. Actor Darshan has a reputation for being a violent bad boy of Kannada film industry, except this time it's murder that he's charged with. Kannada superstar Darshan Thogudipa, along with some close associates, were at a pub in Mysuru after midnight because the DJ played a song of another actor, Puneet Rajkumar, at the request of a guest named Yashwant. The superstar lost his cool. He started abusing the DJ and the guests, saying in his presence only songs from his films can be played. He even threatened them. An FIR was registered against his associates, but not the superstar actor himself, though the police confirmed his involvement. This wasn't the first time because Darshan Thogudipa is no stranger to controversy. In fact, his complicated married life and his rowdy behavior in public have earned him the title of enfant terrible of Kannada cinema. Within a decade of his first super hit, he was arrested and spent quite a few days in jail. He was charged with domestic violence. Darshan's marriage with Vijay Lakshmi was about 8 years old and their son was a toddler when he was booked for attempted murder and assaulting his wife in 2011. But the couple buried the hatchet after mediation by several bigwigs in the industry. 5 years later, his wife Vijay Lakshmi once again registered a police complaint against her husband for objectionable behavior, and once again she reconciled and retreated. In 2018, Darshan, actor Devraj and Darshan's friend Anthony suffered injuries when their SUV rammed a street light in North Mysuru. No casualties were reported and the case was settled. In 2021, he was accused of physically assaulting a waiter at a Mysuru hotel by Indrajit Lankesh. Reports later suggested the CCTV images were deleted and the incident was covered up, with the police compensating the waiter with 50,000 rupees. A year later, Bharat, a Kannada film producer, lodged a police complaint against Darshan for threatening him with dire consequences, but he too withdrew eventually. In January 2023, Forest Department officials raided Darshan's T. Narasipura farm on the outskirts of Mysuru following a social media video where the actor is talking about 4 bar-headed geese on his farm. Officials said the endangered bird was protected under the Wildlife Protection Act and the actor was possessing them in violation of the law.
Hey broker, ee huli durgdalli ningon kerchifu sigala.
In November last year, Darshan was accused of setting his dogs to attack his neighbour. Reportedly, she had an argument with his caretaker over a parking space. An FIR was lodged, but as the neighbour was compensated with hospital treatment charges, the matter was resolved. Earlier this year, Darshan was among several Kannada film stars who were issued notices by the police in connection with partying late into the night in violation of the deadline and creating a ruckus at a posh Bengaluru pub. Darshan and the crew of Katera were celebrating the box office success of the film. The Katera star has been in and out of controversies too often, but none escalated to the level it has with the murder of Renuka Swami. The murder of Renuka Swami has brought the limelight back on Kannada star Pavitra Gowda and her relationship with Darshan Tugudeepa. Earlier this year, she was embroiled in a full-blown, very public social media war with Darshan's wife Vijay Lakshmi. And in one of those posts, she claimed to be in a relationship with the superstar for 10 years.
Pavitra Gowda in her social media handle identifies herself as a fashion designer, model, artist and managing director for boutique. She was an aspiring actress who could not land a role in any project in her first attempt. Pavitra got married and a few years later got divorced. Starting a fresh page in her life with her daughter from the first marriage, she tried her luck once again in Sandalwood. And this time she landed a role in Chhatrigalu Sa Chhatrigalu and then acted in Agamaya and Preeti Kitabu. But then she quit the film business and settled down as a fashion designer with a boutique of her own. Reportedly, when Darshan and Vijay Lakshmi's domestic help went through a challenging time in 2011, Pavitra and the superstar became close. The Sandalwood film industry knows her as the superstar's second wife. They were in a relationship, as is evident from her social media post. In January this year, Darshan's wife Vijay Lakshmi and Pavitra were involved in a public spat on social media over the superstar. It began with Vijay Lakshmi posting her picture with her husband and son on Instagram. Hours later, Pavitra posted a video with a collage featuring photographs of her with Darshan and her daughter with the caption, "One decade down, forever to go. It has been 10 years of our relationship." Vijay Lakshmi responded angrily, posting photographs of Pavitra with her daughter and husband and threatening to take legal action against her. Their very public spat led to many fans reacting negatively to Pavitra. Renuka Swami was one such fan who trolled Pavitra and allegedly not only sent abusive messages but vivid lewd pictures to her. This, the police now claims, led to Darshan hunting Renuka Swami down. That led to his death eventually. Allegedly, Pavitra Gowda too was present in the shed with Darshan, where Renuka Swami was kept and beaten up. Both Pavitra Gowda and Darshan are now in police custody. Darshan's lawyer has denied any relationship between the two other than friendship.
Very first, I just want to bring to the all the media thing is first everybody telling that she is the second wife. Pavitra Gowda is the second wife. That is the utter false, and it is a false statement also. Just she is a friend before. Actually, she was working as an actress. Okay, just having only a friendly relationship, nothing else. The only wife is that the first wife, Vijay Lakshmi, is the first wife. No second marriage was happened at any point.
So Pavitra, according so Pavitra is Darshan's friend, nothing more.
The rumors, what was happened? Darshan, nothing more.
Pavitra Gowda today is the hated third person in Darshan's life, at least as far as the superstar's fans are concerned. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, that's it on Newstrack. Thanks so much for watching. News Today with Rajdeep comes up next.
विक्रम आ तो गए, जाओगे कैसे?
बड़े आराम से।
देखिए ये देश
हेलो, मैं आ रहा हूँ। और हाँ, भगा कर ले जाऊंगा।
सिक्योरिटी! भैया! भाग गए, पकड़ो उनको! हेलो!
बोला था ना, भगा कर ले जाऊंगा।
विक्रम!
एक हिंट तो देते।
हिंट?
बड़े आराम से।
रायबरेली और अमेठी हमेशा उनको एक परिवार के रूप में उन्होंने माना है और स्वाभाविक है कि वहां के मतदाताओं ने जिस प्रकार का एक अपनापन, एक विश्वास, एक आशीर्वाद गांधी परिवार को हमेशा से दिया है और विशेष रूप से इस बार राहुल जी को दिया है। और माननीय प्रियंका जी स्वयं वहां पर 18 दिनों तक रहकर उन्होंने लोगों के बीच लोगों का आशीर्वाद मांगा है। आश्वस्त करेंगे कि आने वाले दिनों में भी उनका प्रतिनिधित्व संसद से लेकर सड़क तक मजबूती के साथ हम सब मिलकर करेंगे।
बड़ा सवाल ये उठ रहा है कि राहुल गांधी जो हैं वो रायबरेली से रहेंगे या वायनाड से रहेंगे, अविनाश पांडे क्या चाहते
अविनाश पांडे या हम क्या चाहते हैं ये उतना महत्व नहीं, क्योंकि इसके बारे में अंतिम निर्णय तो राहुल जी स्वयं लेंगे। स्वाभाविक है कि वहां की जनता की भावनाओं को समझते हुए और जो भी वो निर्णय लेंगे, लेकिन हमारी सबकी इच्छा है कि वो रायबरेली का प्रतिनिधित्व करें और ताकि पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में, पूरे उत्तर भारत में एक संदेश जाए।
Sorry.
फिर छाया मेरा जादू, कोई रोक न पाया। मित्रों, फिर छाया मेरा जादू, कोई रोक न पाया। जीत की गारंटी हूँ मैं, वादों की वारंटी हूँ मैं, जनता की मैं उम्मीदें, बेईमानों खतरे की घंटी हूँ मैं। देश ने फिर से भरोसा किया, देश का फिर से पीएम मैं, जो चाहे मोटा भाई से टकराए, हाँ फिर भी जीत न पाए। फिर छाया मेरा जादू, अपोजिशन रोक न पाया।
No faking, no fuzzy, no falsehoods. Unbought, unfake live viewership.
The India Today election intelligence dashboard is rocking it.
On India's big verdict day, India Today's viewership super smash.
If you looked at the voting percentage, it was less than 50%.
This is a real wake-up call for the double engine.
Thriller in the election results, landslide for the #1 election channel.
Hindustan's weather report brought to you by JK Tyre, Desh Ka Tyre.
ऐ भारत हम चल पड़े किस जुनून किस शान से जन्नत नुमा कश्मीर से आसाम के बागान से महाराष्ट्र से गुजरात से कर्नाटक से राजस्थान से तब हिंदुस्तान मिले हिंदुस्तान से जय हो विजय हो देश हो विदेश हो जेके हो जब हिंदुस्तान मिले हिंदुस्तान से
JK Tyre, देश का टायर.
Presented by JK Tyre, Desh Ka Tyre. Powered by NECC, Sunday हो या Monday, रोज खा वनडे.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today, your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. Our big talking point. Is it time for a total review and revamp of India's premier medical exam process, the NEET exam? Is it time to say this is not so neat after all? Will the NEET students get justice? Our continuing campaign for them tonight here on the news today. But also Manipur, a year and more of violence. The newly elected MP, Dr. Bimol Oikojam, will be joining me, telling me why is Manipur still a state under siege. Back in a moment, but first, as always, the 9 headlines at 9. The National Testing Agency gets a rap on the knuckles from the Supreme Court over the NEET controversy. Top court says if there was a 0.001% negligence in country's premier medical exam, it should be thoroughly dealt with. Suspense over who will be the next Lok Sabha Speaker. NDA leaders meet. BJP allies say final decision to pick a name with Prime Minister Modi. Opposition wants the Deputy Speaker post this time. Prime Minister's farmer outreach in his first visit to his constituency, Varanasi, after the election win. Releases 17th installment of PM Kisan Nidhi funds worth 20,000 crores for farmers. Politics speaks over Rahul Gandhi's Raebareli pick. BJP accuses him of betraying voters of Wayanad, says Priyanka Gandhi Vadra being made a political scapegoat. After poll defeat, YSRCP chief and former Andhra Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy calls for a move towards voting by paper ballots. TDP Janasena slam Reddy, call him a sore loser. NCRT replaces Azad Park with Park-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, adds China's aggression reference in a Class 12 political science textbook. Built for rupees 12 crores, a bridge in Bihar's Araria collapses even before inauguration. Probe ordered into the collapse. Massive boost for Made in India in defense. Government kickstarts mega attack helicopter order. Orders for 156 attack helicopter lifts off. BCCI's Cricket Advisory Committee interviews Gautam Gambhir for the position of the Indian head coach. He is believed to be the front runner. Will take over from Rahul Dravid. But our top story tonight, it's the controversy that has affected lakhs of students and their parents across the country. Today, the Supreme Court stepped into the NEET exam controversy involving the country's premier medical exam. It has issued notices to the centre and the National Testing Agency over allegations of irregularities and alleged paper leaks in the NEET UG exams this year. The top court said there shouldn't be any negligence at all in conducting such exams, as it hampers the lives of lakhs of students. Tonight's top story, the NEET exam controversy. Is it time to review the way the exam is conducted? First, our top report.
Students is on warpath, raising concerns about NEET, the national eligibility test for admission into medical colleges.
इतने साल से कुछ तो भी हम प्रिपेयर करें और पेरेंट्स के ऊपर हम होम्स लगाए, वो सब कुछ पानी में गया ना। तो हमको रीनीट चाहिए और ये हमको जस्टिस दिलाना है।
हमारा डिमांड ये है कि एनटीए को रिजेक्ट करना और नीट एग्जाम को रिकंडक्ट करना है और जो भी स्टूडेंट जिसको जस्टिस नहीं मिला है उन लोगों को डेफिनेटली जस्टिस देना।
As outrage and anger grows, the Supreme Court has blasted the National Testing Authority, the agency responsible for conducting the NEET exam. While hearing a batch of petitions over alleged irregularities in the exam, the top court has called for timely action. The Supreme Court said, and I quote, even if there is 0.001% negligence on the part of anyone, it should be thoroughly dealt with. A bench of Justice Vikram Nath and Justice S.V.N. Bhati told the NTA that it needs to admit there is a mistake and fix it. The top court also observed that the agency should not forget the efforts students put in to prepare for one of the toughest entrance exams in the country. Unquote. The Supreme Court has issued notices to the Centre and National Testing Agency demanding a response by July 8. Meanwhile, politics over the issue continues to escalate. The Aam Aadmi Party hit the streets in the capital.
करोड़ों नौजवानों का भविष्य बर्बाद हुआ पिछले 2 साल में। कभी पुलिस भर्ती का पेपर लीक हो जाता है, कभी नीट का पेपर लीक हो जाता है, कभी जेई का पेपर लीक हो जाता है। तो ये देश के नौजवानों की जिंदगी के साथ एक बड़ा खिलवाड़ है और इसलिए मैं मांग करता हूं कि इसमें जो लोग शामिल हैं उनको एक टाइम बाउंड तरीके से इन्वेस्टिगेशन करा के उनको सजा दिलाई जाए, सख्त से सख्त सजा दिलाई जाए, उनकी गिरफ्तारी की जाए। ये सीधे सीधे मोदी सरकार के अधीन आने वाले शिक्षा मंत्रालय का घोटाला है, एनटीए का घोटाला है।
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi has questioned the Prime Minister's silence on the issue.
Actually, the Union Education Minister has no moral right to continue as an education minister. Last 5 years, he was continuing as a Minister of Education. Entire examinations credibility had been questioned. The NEET examination is the latest thing. This NEET examination is the latest things. He himself is admitting some gadbadi ho gaya.
It's clear that the NEET exam needs an overhaul. The future of lakhs of students is at stake. With Abdul Bashir in Hyderabad and Amit Bharadwaj and Milan Sharma in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's raise the big questions then at the top of the show. Is it a time for a total review of the NEET exam process? Will NEET students ever get justice? Has the government been living in denial for much too long on the NEET exam? Is there simply a better way of conducting this premier medical exam? Joining me now, special guest, Dr. Rahul Chawla is AIIMS neurologist, writer, NEET mentor. He's been a topper in the NEET exam in 2008. Maheshwar Perry is founder and chairman at Careers 360. He's been tracking this issue now for weeks. Vivek Thakur is managing director and founder of and former alumni of IIT Kharagpur. He'll give us a perspective also from a coaching center perspective. Saransh Ojha is a NEET aspirant. I appreciate each of you joining me here on the news today. Let me come to you, Dr. Rahul Chawla, first. As someone who's been a topper himself in a NEET exam, has the time come to completely relook at this exam? Because this is happening year after year. Even if in one center or 2 centers, as the government is claiming there could have been something that went wrong, is that enough to say let's totally revamp this exam?
Sir, it doesn't look like something has went wrong. It looks like so many things have went wrong at so many levels that just puts up, so many irregularities that have come across and so many coincidences that it really needs the Supreme Court and the center to just look up what is exactly happening with the NTA and the way the exam has been conducted. And I cannot say anything about conducting a re-NEET, but I think the investigation should be done. And
no, so what according when you say so many irregularities, let's one by one, and I'll put the graphic on what are the so-called irregularities. There is the alleged allegation that how come suddenly in an exam you have 67 people maxing the papers, and getting 720, many of them from the same coaching center. That's one irregularity. The second irregularity is the manner in which grace marks are given. The fact, as I said, 6 out of 67 who got full marks were from one center. So you have the grace marks issue. On what basis do you give grace marks? 44 out of 67 toppers answered a physics question incorrectly. Then they are told there are 2 answers to that question. So they are given the benefit of that. So I want to understand from you, when you say there are so many irregularities, is it enough, you believe, to call for a complete review of this exam in the future, Rohit?
Well, actually, minor impersonation cases, few cases of paper leak, that happens almost every year. And medical entrance examinations, they are known to be having such instances of paper leak. It's very common, but not at this scale, at this magnitude. It is the first time it has happened that more than 60 students have scored full out of full marks. Now, this doesn't happen in any competitive exam. Look at JEE, look at UPSC, look at CLAT. There are so many entrance examinations, but have you ever come across such an instance where so many students are getting full out of full marks? 67 students. Out of
you think dal mein kuch kala hai? You're saying dal mein kuch kala hai ya puri dal kali hai?
See, there are so many coincidences, so many irregularities, and these coincidences cannot be just mere coincidences. There is something really wrong out here. And also, because this exam determines the future of a student, whether the person will be doctor or not. And in case our society is producing that kind of doctors who have passed through grace marks, who have got admitted through unfair means, then I don't know what quality of doctors we will be generating, and they'll be treating the patients and the society as a whole.
Okay, you're making very serious points. You believe that the irregularities are much more than what the government claims. Maheshwar Perry, founder and chairman, Careers 360, you've been writing, tweeting, blogging on this issue extensively. Do you believe, as the government is claiming, that, look, there is nothing fundamentally wrong with the way the National Testing Agency conducts the exam, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater?
No, I think, Rajdeep, the larger issue that government must understand is it must start understanding the issues faced by the students than being a spokesperson for the NTA. NTA is an independent body, and the government must be speaking out, trying to understand the issues faced by the student. The issue is not just about 67 toppers. 67 toppers is unparalleled and not possible, if you ask me personally, right? Perfect score by 67 people. You look at the rank and score inflation that happened across the board, right? At 700 marks, last year you had 294 people sneaking in.
I'll put up that graphic also.
At 600 marks, last year it was 26,000. Yeah, and at 600 marks, it's 26,000. It's 80,000. So across the board, for the top seats, the government seats, if I may say so, you actually have a score inflation that happened. And it is not about 100,000 seats that students are fighting for, Rajdeep. Of the 100,000, about 45,000 are private and deemed university seats, which are extremely expensive. So many students don't even compete for that, right? What you're left with is 55,000 of government seats, of which, if you remove the reserved categories and all, we're dealing with 30,000 seats. Most of the students are competing to be a part of the 30,000. So you actually have a demand supply of 23 lakh versus, or whatever you remove the categories, about 15 lakhs to 30,000 seats. So when you actually have that kind of a demand supply situation, and you have some paper leak taking away 3,000-4,000, because a lot of people told me, listen, 1,500 students. No, it's not 1,500. It's 1,500 out of 30,000 seats, and not 1,500 out of 24 lakh students.
No, but the demand, but Mahesh, irrespective, that demand supply situation is not going to change. 23 lakh students who are battling for 30,000 seats, that's not going to change.
I agree with you, Rajdeep. But of the 30,000 that are available, if you have 5,000-7,000 seats being taken away by these kind of means, it can be a paper leak or a grace mark or whatever it is, then it's much more dramatic, isn't it? So all I'm trying to say is that it is not 1,563 out of 24 lakh. It is 1,563 who may be actually laying a claim on these 30,000 seats, which is where the outrage is. And more importantly, Rajdeep, there are 2 or 3 centers that have been caught. It doesn't mean that, once you have a paper leak, you actually have it extensively. It's much beyond 3. And by experience, I can tell you that it's much, much beyond 3. Go back to the 21-22 case that happened in JEE, where 820 students were caught having, influenced the scoring pattern and gotten into NITs. So the issue is much beyond this. What we see, the 1,563 are students who complain. By the way, that's very important. These students complained to the High Court, different courts, because of which they got a grace mark. Are you saying that from now on, every student, after they write the examination, come out of the examination hall, complain to the High Court so that they actually have a better hearing from the NTA? That's not the way you run a country.
I couldn't
So for
agree.
me, it's
I
not just
couldn't
one-
agree
one
on that
it's
point
much
with
more.
you more.
It is not just three sentences.
I've taken your point, Mahesh, on board. I'll come back because I'm going to want solutions. We've identified that there are irregularities, and Vivek Thakur, you can pick up from where Mahesh let off. The fact is, there are coaching centers, and we are seeing it with JEE, we are seeing it now with NEET as well. You're managing director and founder of Scholars Den and former alumni of IIT Kharagpur. I want to ask you, is the entire system, as they would say, sab mile hue hain? Or is it that there are a few rotten apples who are giving the entire system a bad name? That there are certain coaching centers, certain places where possibly the entire system is being scammed. And as Mahesh says, if there are 1,500 students who are perhaps benefiting in out of 30,000, that's quite a substantial number.
राजदीप जी, कमिंग बैक टू योर ओरिजिनल क्वेश्चन कि दाल में कुछ काला है या दाल ही काला है, आई वुड से दाल ही काला है, बिकॉज आई हैड बीन फाइटिंग विद द सिस्टम फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम नाउ. In 2017, I fought a case against IIT Madras. There was a bonus marks case. I have been active for students' rights. Now, I would say, coming back to your question, see, parallel to the NEET exam, if you see IIT